Okay, so hey there. This is second vlog, and it will be concerning my ongoing work to learn how to write a text editor. I have just published a second version on NPM, second major version of an update of my vted. I call it Valera text editor, and it has some interesting new things that I think are making it more and more user-friendly, at least for me, on a daily basis. So let me quickly jump over to the GitHub. So this is draft version 1.1.0. I made sure to test how it's working on Windows under PowerShell. Latest version, I think it's like 7 something. And all functionality is working there. I mean, the editor itself and development utilities. You can run tests, you can debug tests, and it's actually pretty interesting how far along Windows PowerShell has gone, that it's basically a native Linux terminal emulator. A little work had to go into there to make that work. Some commands had to be updated from using bash to using Node.js. Added undo functionality, but it's still quite rough. Some work needs to be done on the UI part. So when you change different undos, it sometimes triggers to not to the same line when you come back to the file. There are some improvements in how the files are loaded, and large files are now not loaded fully into memory, but instead the buffer, the view buffer, where you are in the file, that part is being read, and when you navigate lower or upper on the file, it does get read from the file system. And also several bugs and several improvements have been done. If you look at the code, there have been added a lot of readme sections, and I just want to bring you, first of all, if you never used it, look at the key bindings, and I plan in the future to add ability to redefine those, so they'll be dynamic. And another thing I want you to take a look at are the Docker files. So this allows you to quickly run on any system where you have Docker, all the builds stuff and the tests, so that you will be able to verify that it's working when you make changes. So this gives me ability to, for example, test on Windows how Linux builds function. So that's that. And besides that, I want to show in this session is ability to do debugging. So when you so there are unit tests and UI tests here. And when you are in the UI test, obviously this is a text editor running inside a terminal emulator. So I had to write some glue to make the editor run inside a emulator, inside like the virtual PTY, so that I could connect it and for debugging purposes send commands. So I'll just quickly demonstrate how that works, and then I'll show you what the UI tests look like. Let me jump to that. So I have this prepared. You build the test, and then you run the test suits using the runner. You pass in the bug flag and also the suit you want to run, the suit of tests. And for example, like the file browser test, it's a file defining several test cases, and each test case loads up the editor and then starts executing some kind of prepared scenario. For example, hitting keys, sending characters, making sure different statuses contain different proper keywords, looking at the file contents and such like that. So let's run just to show how that works. It sets up the debug server and gives you a URL, a socket URL, and a command you can run in a separate terminal. to connect to the debug server. And you see it's like fully virtualized. It's like a text editor running inside a virtual button showing on an actual text console. And here you can go to next steps and see what is actually happening inside the UI. And you can run to end of test and then get the next test. I have not yet integrated breakpoints. And why is that? Because I don't have source mapping right now set up, but this is something I'm planning to do in the future. So if you go to develop or to tinker with this project, you should be aware that it's fully, or at least I tried to write for each functionality that I add as many like tests that I think are small like testing the basic functionality so that at least it's not broken. And since I continue to use Cloud Code to generate some of this stuff, I want to make sure that future iterations do not break the current stuff, and I have ability to very strictly control what thing and when breaks. Yeah, so my next goal is to make the undo system more user-friendly. The UI kind of is a bit jiggery. And also add ability to do breakpoint debugging and to have a side-by-side line of code line so that you could actually, from inside the text editor itself, access this debug session. So that will be pretty cool. So these are things I'm thinking and trying like different approaches how to implement. Right. So stick with me. Next video log will contain maybe this, or maybe I will show something. I'll switch to a different topic. But anyways, I will put a link, and I will like these sessions on things which are very related. There will be in my YouTube a playlist for that. So if you are, for example, interested in just the text editor development, you can go to the text editor playlist, and then the various vlogs, they will be sequentially followed one by one. Yeah, right. So take care, have fun, see you later, bye.